Hi and welcome to the Pod3TV music show. I'm Ali Fox and today we're in the middle of the beautiful English countryside, as you can see, for a very special interview. Now, it's a funny old business, music business, pretty fickle. You're hot one minute, cold the next. Bands, they come and go. You know, I wonder if there are many bands around today who will still be remembering in 20, 30 years' time, who'll still be performing, are still popular, and whose songs will still be singing. There are just a few bands still around though, that have been around for that long and who we still love and who still get a buzz out of performing. We're going to talk to one such performer today, Steve Harley and his band Cockney Rebel. Let's go meet them. So here we are, we're in the studio and we're very lucky to be joined by our special guest, Mr. Steve Harley here today. He's going to be joined by his band Cockney Rebel in a little while and we're going to hear some music, which I'm really looking forward to. But before that, I'm just going to have a little chat. Steve, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Now you've just been touring.
Yeah, always touring.
Yeah, I read this about you.
People say to me, you just finished a tour, haven't you? I think, yeah.
Constantly.
Always.
What is it about performing live that you love, that still keeps you going back and back?
Sort of everything. It's. I'm an inveterate explorer. I'm a real, genuine wandering minstrel. You know, my kids are in their 20s now, but they grew up through their school years with their friends realising that their dad was away a lot. But then again, their dad was home a lot.
Right.
You know, you might go away for months and come back for months.
But you've
so
still
it's a funny
got this,
old life.
You've still got this wanderlust.
I'm a traveller. There's
right.
No question. When I'm not touring, when I'm not playing concert dates, my hand luggage and my shoulder bag has tickets in it.
Really?
Yeah, I have to have a ticket. I have to have something to look forward to. For instance, when I realised my diary was sort of empty for several months, i.e., well, no, we do a lot through the summer. When we're not touring per se, we do a lot of festivals. We go away for weekends and stuff, bank raids. You know.
Will you be doing festivals this summer?
Yeah, quite a lot. A couple in the UK and several in Europe. Yeah. And I realised the diary is sort of empty, relatively empty, and then I start booking tickets.
You're getting itchy feet.
Yeah, I go to Barcelona, I go to Amalfi, I go to America. I just need a ticket. And I actually like airports.
You do?
Yeah, I don't like the aggravation, but I like, once I'm through the other side, as soon as I'm through there, I'm sorted.
And you don't get sick of the hotels?
No, I love hotel life.
That's fortunate.
No, it's good. Well, I stay in good places. I understand how lucky I am, but I quite like being looked after. My head is almost 100% creative. I'm no engineer. I hope I've been a pretty good dad, but I am quite eccentric, I think. So I need looking after. You know. And
what is it about that expectation? Is it the expectation of the tour, of the crowd, of the performance, or is it the performance itself that you love, that keeps you going?
Well, yeah, in terms of the playing, rather than travelling privately, well, when I say I travel a lot, it is to work. I go to write and explore for songs and stuff. But on concert tours, for a start, it's never the same twice. I've acted in legitimate theatre too. Last year I was playing in the Arts Theatre. I was playing in Samuel Beckett.
So I hear. I was going to ask you about the contrast. How do you find the theatre versus
it's another planet.
Performance.
Well, you see, when I say in my business it's never the same twice, in theatre it's always the same. Actors love to tell you that it's different every night, dear. You know, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because in theatre, they're not coming to see, it's not your show. It's the playwright's show, or the composer's show, it's the director's show. Once these big musicals, they run for 6 months with a star on proper money, and then they bring in these other people on poor money, and the standards are not very high anymore either. Because of that, they don't pay much. And you don't come to see these actors, bless them. You don't go to see them for your 35, 55, 80 quid. You don't do that. You're going to see Hal Prince at work, or Trevor Nunn, or Andrew Lloyd Webber. You know what I mean?
The place, the thing.
You're in your dressing room, it's the same room, 6 days a week, 8 times a week. For 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. It's nothing to do with, it's the same every night, believe me. Whereas in my business, the audiences change because the town changes.
Why did you decide to do the theatre? Was that a conscious decision or something that just arrived on your lap
My general philosophy is the answer is yes. What's the question?
Good philosophy.
I'm very positive, and I love life. I love exploring. I love adventure. You know, I've been in places, some real places. I'm an ambassador for the Mines Advisory Group, and I've led treks in Cambodia and Death Valley and
Fantastic.
stuff. I just need to keep, you know, seeing life. I don't know how long I'm here for, you know. And with the Beckett, it was a case of, it's Beckett, you've got to say yes. I mean, my first reaction was, why me? Do you want me to audition? Which I'm not good at. I would have said no. I wouldn't audition. I mean, you either want me or you don't. I mean, I wouldn't audition because it's not there's no sense of arrogance meant there at all. It's just that I don't need that job. They're going to have to need me badly and convince me I can do it. It's actually, I'm being modest. It's the opposite of arrogant. I couldn't understand why they would possibly want me to do it. But the people involved, the director and the co-actor, it was a two-hander like a lot of Beckett stuff. They knew me quite well. They knew my work and they knew my stage performance and everything. So they did say, it's you, we want you. And I said, well, that's good, because I didn't fancy reading and auditioning.
And
I hate rejection.
I've seen the reviews and they were great. So
yeah, thank you. It was a magnificent experience, but only a very short run. You know, I wouldn't, that same room every day, it wouldn't suit me at all.
So not necessarily something you choose to go again?
No, it's highly, highly unlikely. They wanted to tour with the Beckett and I couldn't do it. I just said, I'm sorry, no. A week here, a week there, and a week there, and no.
Well, I guess at the end of the day,
theatrical.
It's all about the music, isn't it, still? It keeps
back. What we do is you get a little rush of adrenaline half an hour before showtime, and you walk out there with basically your mates when you've rehearsed days on end, and you've known these people. Like the guys playing with me now, the newest recruit to the band has played about 500 shows with me, so
wow.
It's going out with you know, pretty well. With a small F, you're going out there with friends. And you trust each other, and you know that after all these years with me, if it could go wrong, I've had it go wrong at some point in my life. So there's nothing you can't deal with, absolutely nothing.
So now it must seem almost, well, not secure, because I guess you never know what's going to happen, but you feel confident.
Yeah, you're not far off. I have to talk myself into being afraid.
Right.
I have to look in the mirror and say to myself, it's okay, you can do this, it's all right. I mean, I've got a couple of dressing room routines. I'm not a superstitious. I'm not a superstitious person as a rule. But I've got a couple of routines. I'm quite religious, and so, you know, I'm not embarrassed at all to say that I pray, you know. But I have another couple of routines, and it's good to look yourself in the eye in a reflection and say, you can do this, yes you can. Yes, you can.
So you never take it for granted?
Never. But there is a serious degree of, I move in a seriously good comfort zone. There's no question at all. I've been doing it a long time. And I've walked out at Glastonbury 3 times, the Isle of Wight 2 years ago. We played a 50, 60, 70,000 in the big European festivals. I'm not usually headlining, but they're still there.
What is that like, playing to a crowd like that? What is that like?
It's no different to playing a 300. It's probably less scary.
Is there one you would prefer over the other?
I like my own shows to be sold out. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
I like the best of all is to play a 2,000 seater in the UK sold out, or in anywhere in Europe where we go to, sold out. That's the biggest thrill that people like me could ever have. Festivals are another matter. I am headlining a few this year, but normally if they're really huge, we're not the headlining act, so it's not my responsibility. It's quite nice to walk out and say, who cares?
But I guess the good thing as well about festivals is if it's not necessarily your audience or made up of all of your audience, you're getting to tell them about yourself and tell your story and introduce yourself to a new audience.
You can't lose, absolutely. You can only win. You can go out and play to 50,000 and you've got 45,000 who don't really care much about you, and you can win.
Yeah.
You can make
what
friends.
A great feeling.
I'm very, very conscious of that, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
If they know nothing else about me, they know make me smile. So I've always got, if it's 45 minutes, an hour, I don't care what's happening. It's like, I know how it's going to end.
How do you feel about that song? Because obviously it's kind of like your pension, isn't it?
Pension, yeah.
But it's a song that everybody loves.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, but they love it too.
Everybody loves it.
They do. From highbrow music journos to, I've been walking past building sites and it's been on, and I've seen everyone singing, and
it gets them at it. I know.
What is it that they love about it? It's a great
I think
song.
they don't understand it. That's part of the joy, part of his success. I try not to talk too deeply about it because
I've read
it
about
could
the
be
juxtaposition of the lyrics.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily
I
as
don't want to lose
positive
the
as
audience.
you was- yeah.
I've had such experiences with it. I've been in the back of a cab in Belgrade, and it's come on, and the guy doesn't know I'm in the back, and he's banging away on his steering wheel and singing to it, and he
How does
doesn't
that
know I'm
make
in
you
the back.
feel? How does that make
It's
you
just
feel?
it's interesting, if nothing else. I never get out and go, hey, it's me. I don't do that. Although that could be a nice touch if you're really cool about it. It could be cool, couldn't it? I had one a couple of years ago. I was in Oslo, and I was there, not playing concerts. I was there on promotion for a new album, and I went out with my record company bosses, but I was alone when I went back to my hotel. No one was with me, and I strolled through the lobby midnight. We'd had a few bottles of wine, and it was midnight, and I was very relaxed. And there was over there across the lobby of this international hotel were a couple of big swing doors behind, in front of which were a couple of guys in bouncers, the gorilla suits, and I was intrigued by that, if nothing. I was just wandering aimlessly before going to sleep, and I strolled across, and there was a sort of private, it's private, and I just stood at the doors. The doors opened, and all these people were falling about with their ties off, and it was coming to a close. The DJ was playing this and that. The dance floor was empty, and it came on. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, that's me. And they just rushed to the dance floor, and
I
I was just watching casually, like laid back, looking at these guys,
must
and
have
winking
been
and
kind
looking
of
at
proud,
that.
though.
No one. They were running about and passing me. I was inside the doors. I strolled in, and they were rushing past me to
They
dance.
didn't
And it's a nice song, and it was odd. I don't know what I get from it. It was interesting. Nothing else.
Kind of cool. Great
Quite
songs.
interesting.
Great songs never die, I guess. We're going to come back and talk again in a minute. So we'll be right back talking to Steve Harley again after this break.
Hiya, I'm Kat. I've never been speed dating before. Little goblins. No, I don't speak Klingon. I hardly think that's appropriate, Paul. Do I have a webcam? You'd like me to what? Has it been 3 minutes already? No, you can't call me Mum. With your sister. You just stay there. I don't think you're fat. Oh! You have a therapist. I don't think you're fat. Hello. How are you? You smell great. I love your colours. You would mix so well with my mates. I could take you home. You look really healthy, but you're tasty as well. You're coming home with me. The Original Smoothie Company, where success comes naturally.
We are back talking to Steve Harley. Steve, we were talking a bit before the break about performing live, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about that and also about your creative process and your writing. Maybe we'll talk about the writing first. You mentioned that when you often travel and you write when you're away and you look for inspiration. How is it easier now to write with more sort of life experience behind you, or does it get harder?
It gets harder.
Does it? Why is
It
that?
gets ridiculously hard. There's a couple of them, but both of the guys I'm thinking of are older than me and been around a little bit longer than me, but they are prolific. They release a lot of albums. I don't do that. No, for most of us it gets harder and harder and harder because, well, when you're 21, 22, you set out with all these goals and aspirations and great hopes, and when you've acquired what you set out to achieve, when you've acquired those things, well, you're not hungry anymore.
So you've lost your hunger. So that seems
temporarily.
sad, you see. That seems sad.
I mean, it is sad. It's really sad. It's very frustrating. It's scary. It causes me anyway a serious loss of sleep. It's a real worry. The other thing is that you get very fussy. I don't want to repeat myself rewriting the same old songs. But subject matter gets difficult, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you see a point at which you will stop doing this?
No, after all this time, I was, when I left school, I was trained as a reporter, and so I've come from what was the straight world, the real world. I did have a job, and a lot of people in my position have just come out of school, college and art school or whatever. But I was, I did have a proper job for 3 years. And for the first 5 or 6 years of my career, in which time I had great success, I always felt a bit of a fraud.
Really?
I never, even to this day, I don't really feel that I'm part of the musicians' fraternity. I am a musician. I have to keep telling myself I am.
Yeah, and you've proved it over and over again.
I'm still alone though. I'm still very much alone. I'm in a club of one. I still don't feel that I'm in their club. I never did, and it was only about 10 years ago that I accepted that I belonged.
Even when you're playing with the Stones?
No, I mean, I feel that I have to pinch myself, and when I realise I have earned respect from the press or fans and other quarters, I still feel like I'm a writer who is playing music, whereas a lot of people who do what I do are angry, genuine rock stars,
But deep down,
I'm still
do
on
you
the
not
outside
think
looking
they're
in.
The same, deep
They
down?
might be able to tell you exactly what I'm telling you. I can't speak for anybody else.
Sure.
But it is true. It was only about 10 years ago that I accepted that I belonged. That this is what I was meant to do, and I mean meant, destined. I told you I was religious. I mean, I believe there's a path written out for us. One door shuts, well, live with it. Another one's going to open. It's what's meant to be. It's okay. I'm very much like that. I'm quite philosophical and cool, relaxed about life. I think bringing up children too. You're angry as a 20 up to 30. You're an angry rock star writing good songs and travelling and writing important stuff. And then when you've got your children growing up, you do become more conservative. If you're a good dad, you can be a bad dad and be a great rock star. I'm not sure you can be both.
Really?
I'm really not sure you can be a good dad and a great rock star.
So do you think that what would characterise your earlier stuff is maybe a little bit more angry and edgy, and now do you think you've
you have
mellowed
things to
as
say
you've got
as a
older?
young man. Yeah, you do. Almost everybody does. And when they don't, they look a bit sad, You can't keep banging on.
Are you thinking of
like
anyone in particular?
Yeah, but I'm not going to name names.
Thought you might be.
There's guys who are raving and ranting and banging on like they're 25 and they're in their 50s, and I can't see why move on, mate. The problem is when you're young and you set yourself a serious profile, an attitude, you can't often. That's going to be very hard to shake off. I've tried to be pretty sort of wide open about that and not close myself up and not give anyone a definite, this is what he's like. My records tend to, you get 10 songs on it and there's 3 different styles, 4 different styles. I'm a little bit like that, which goes against me in sales, I know that, but it keeps me sane. I can
understand that.
You don't, and as for giving it up, no. I love travelling so much, as I've already told you. I love exploring and I love adventure. And the 2.5 hours of on stage, the 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours that I'm in a theatre or a concert hall, that's the gig, that's the show. But I see a lot more of life out there, and you don't retire from this. You just don't. I mean, I could be a really, really, God willing, I'll be a very, very old man and still be able to get wheeled out and put on a chair and sing and play.
Let's hope so.
I mean, there's no reason why not. The old blues guys do it,
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned the Rolling Stones. I was playing with them last year in some big outdoor stuff.
Well, they're a prime example. They're just going to keep going all over on stage, I think.
Keith looks 110, but
He does.
he's 35 still. I've realised that's what it is. I mean, Jagger's got the hips of a 10-year-old.
He does.
It's incredible. And I'm 35. I think that's what it is. That's the trick. You've got to keep being 35. You never leave 35. That's what keeps you being a rock star. And wanting to go out and do it. The guys who become 45 have to give it up.
That's too late.
Once you've owned up to being over 35, I think that you've got to quit. I think that's the story. And I think that's the trick. That's you go you run a pub, you become a publican or a minicab firm or something like that. But if you're meant to do it, you will keep doing it.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the chemistry as well, because obviously you've had various lineups and changes with bands and band members that you've worked with. How easy is it to get that right chemistry where you can work together when you're working with different people? And are there times when it doesn't work? Yeah,
there's a lot of times it doesn't work, and you can go off on tour with a band member or two where you think everything's fine, but a few shows in, I would be aware that it was not as good as I've experienced in the past, and they're all very excited and think it's wonderful, and I'm quietly thinking, if only you knew.
Not quite working.
If only you knew where I've been, you know what I've worked with in the past. This isn't right, and it's not their fault. I would have auditioned and chosen them, but you're aware that you're not at your peak, and you are constantly fishing around looking for new faces, because the worry is that musicians leave people like me. Not that we move on from them, but they can say, well, I can't do that tour because I'm out with so and so for the next 3 months. And,
sure.
Oh God, no, really? 'Cause I hate rehearsing. I hate it. It's like pulling your own teeth out.
Why is that? Because you don't have the
it's
feedback,
repetition.
or you just...
It's repetition.
Right.
I don't mind. I often leave a band to rehearse for 6 or 7 hours, and then I turn up for the last hour. And that's exciting because I put the guitar on and sing and play for an hour, and it's
once they're tight,
great
together.
vibe.
Yeah.
They've done the basics, They don't mind that either. They find when the boss is away, the mice get down to it.
I do what you mean.
I think that's the way they like it if they're when I'm not there.
And what about new bands? Obviously, live music has seen a bit of a resurgence in the last few years, which I think is a great thing. Mm-hmm. Are there any new bands around now that you see and you think, yeah, I really like what they're doing?
Yeah, I think it's a really healthy scene. It was since the mid to late 90s when Oasis and Blur came out, and then the Verve and Radiohead, fabulous. I mean, yes. I do love a bit of an experiment, Tom York's very, very, very talented.
Yeah.
In the 80s, there was this thing called a drum machine and click tracks, and
we remember.
Drummers can drum again, I'm so pleased to say, and they can sing again. People can sing. There's a lot of harmony going on again. There's music happening as
why
well
do you
as.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just cyclical that?
Fashions come and go. Absolutely, there can't be anything more than that. I don't suppose it's any deeper than that. I don't know. They're reacting against the 80s. I don't know. What I know is that it looks good. When I see them playing live, it's healthy. It's interesting. We gave some guest tickets to a family of mine. Never met them. They're distant. They're a cousin's daughter and friend, anyway, in their early 20s. And they wanted to see us at Indigo 2 in the O2 recently in London. And they emailed my family and said, would Steve, get them in? And so, yeah, it was fun. So I organised it for them, and they wrote and thanked me. It was a great night. It was just a great night. 2,000 people singing for 2.5 hours. It was just a wonderful celebratory concert, and I knew that afterwards they must have had such a buzz, because I'd heard from their mum that they had never seen a totally live rock show. They'd been to the more poppy stuff. I knew it must have played funny things on their mind. I mean, I can imagine.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it. It is very sexy. I know it is. I don't go and see a lot of other people play, but rock music is. It's got something. And they're in their early 20s, and they wrote and her mum wrote and thanked me and said she was astonished that Steve actually sings live for the whole show. She's only seen so-and-so and so-and-so. One name was Justin Timberlake. I mean, I don't know if I'm out of order, but she mentioned him and said she's used to seeing these people lip-syncing. What? On stage?
We don't know what that is.
On stage? Miming. I mean, to me it's, what? But she was serious. I mean, we're laughing at it, but apparently she was serious. Kids was very impressed that I actually sang live for 2.25, 2.5 hours. Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, you know what? May you keep singing live and never lip syncing for many, many years to come. Thank you very much for talking to us.
My joy,
Steve
my
Harley,
pleasure.
thank you very much.
Hiya, I'm Kat. I've never been speed dating before. Little goblins. No, I don't speak Klingon. I hardly think that's appropriate, Paul. Do I have a webcam? You'd like me to what? Has it been 3 minutes already? No, you can't call me Mum. With your sister. You just stay there. I don't think you're fat. Oh! You have a therapist. I don't think you're fat. Hello. How are you? You smell great. I love your colours. You would mix so well with my mates. I could take you home. You look really healthy. But you're tasty as well. You're coming home with me. The Original Smoothie Company, where success comes naturally.
Brazil's laughing at me, and I'm laughing myself. Cause they're so hard to see. We will have to spell each letter out. Honestly, if there's no room for laughter, there's no room for me, for me. So try looking at you, la me. There's no truth isn't here, it's all fantasy. Since the last time we met, I've been through about 700 changes, and that's just a few. And the changes all tend to be something to do, but you gotta believe that they're all done for you, for you. It's the best years of our lives. I'm lost now for the words to tell you the truth. So please, banter with me, banter of you. If I thought I could say it, I'd say it for you. If I thought I could whisper, I'd whisper for you. If I thought I could run, I'd come running to you. If I thought I could dance, I'd get up and waltz for you. But I've discovered now how to be fair. I could teach you if only I did. But the only conclusion that I've reached in my life is that if I should die, I should die by the knife. Since it's only a matter of courage, or I die a man or a martyr, the two would be nice, so nice, so nice. Oh, you think it's tragic when that moment first arrives. Oh, but it's magic. It's the best cheese alive. Oh, you think it's tragic when that moment first arrives. Oh, but it's magic. It's the best cheese alive. Yeah, kick on, right? Kick on. The last time I saw you, my eyes were red from constant crying. Blue moon was at my door. You read my hand and told me all romantics go to heaven, or to war. They say too much too soon. I plead to let you pacify my wounded pride. Last time I saw you alone, you shielded me from strangers. You saved me from the Lord. In my dreams, I still have you. You're still my sweet compadre. Ayo, El Gran Senor. We say too much too soon. And I bleed as if I'm wounded pride. leaping of my ransomed heart. Said trees can weep and stone can bleed, and we knew but we weren't sure. They said too much too soon, and I bled to let you pacify my wounded pride. We say too much too soon, and I bled to let you pacify my wounded pride. You've done it all, broken every code, under heaven to the floor. You spoke again, no matter what you said. The only matter what I bought. Blue eyes. You tell so many lies. Oh, come out and see me, baby, smile. I do what you want, but in a while. That's how we keep better time without a drummer. There's nothing left, so run away. Maybe you'll tell why. It's just a test, game for us to play. When I lose, it's hard to smile. Resist, soon you sail, gotta have to hide.